So, they're making a new Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. I don't know why, but they are. So, I kind of feel a sense of obligation to talk about this because one, Wizards of Waverly Place was my favorite TV show growing up. I absolutely loved the TV show. I thought it was way better than Hannah Montana. I thought it was one of the more well written series on the channel. Not the best written. I still think that Good Luck Charlie is the best written sitcom they've ever produced on that channel.
Oh, you gotta brush your teeth, then brush your hair, then brush your teeth again because, girl, that breath is nasty.
But Wizards of Waverly Place was really funny. It was whimsical. I thought the writing was really good for what it was. It kind of diminished in quality in the last season just a little bit, but overall, I felt that it was a good run from start to finish. And I also have a sense of obligation to address this because the video on my channel that really blew up my channel was my Wizards of Waverly Place video about the wizard competition and how really nonsensical that whole plot line of the series was. So there has always been a lot of chatter about a potential Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. Actually, I think a lot of people just wanted a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot because it seemed like every popular children programming was getting rebooted. And because Wizard of Waverly Place was this really huge success for the channel, people kind of just felt like it would be the natural contender for a potential reboot, in the same vein as a Lizzie McGuire reboot that eventually fell down the rabbit hole and never saw the light of day. But personally, I've never felt that Wizards of Waverly Place needed a reboot. I felt that the original series actually nicely wrapped up all of those characters. Maybe not in the way that I would have done it, maybe not in the way that I would have wanted it to end, but I did feel like there was a finality to the way that the show wrapped up everything. I had absolutely no intention of revisiting these characters. I had no real intention of finding out what these characters were up to. I really didn't care. I thought that the original series ended on a really good note, a note that I felt like everybody thought that it would end on, which was Alex Russo winning the wizard competition and becoming the family wizard. Through some stroke of luck, Justin managed to keep his powers as well. He got to become the new professor of Wistic. Max lost his powers and became the owner of the sub shop, which was honestly a disappointing end for that character. But overall, I felt like the narrative of the show came to a pretty nice conclusion. I absolutely didn't think we needed a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. I wasn't one of those people who really wanted to revisit this story. So it was pretty surprising to me to find out this week that they were actually going to go ahead and do a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. I mean, there were a couple of hints that that might have happened. I mean, there was the Wizards of Waverly Place podcast with Jennifer Stone and David DeLuise, and they're recapping the entire series. Like, they're currently, I think they're still in season one actually, of recapping every single episode of Wizards of Waverly Place. And they've spoken at length about their willingness to come back and do a reboot, their eagerness for actually wanting to do a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. And Selena Gomez even came on the show and said she would 100% be willing to do a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot, but it's just not within their power. That's something that Disney would have to agree to do. But I don't know. I just never thought that it would actually happen. And the information that we've gotten so far about the reboot haven't really encouraged me to feel better about it. I don't really feel excited about the reboot. Mostly because we've come to find out that the reboot will focus on Justin, not Alex. So Selena Gomez will have a cameo appearance in the pilot episode. Both her and David Henry are executive producing the series for Disney Channel. But Selena Gomez will not be a main cast member for this series. She will guest appear in the pilot episode. She might have other few guest appearances throughout the series, but this series will focus solely on Justin Russo. He has apparently left behind his magical life. He's gotten married, he has kids, and he has put his wizard past behind him, which is just so crazy to me because I just never imagined Justin Russo as someone that would ever give up his powers. Like in the original series, Justin was so obsessed with winning the wizard competition and being the family wizard. Like, I just cannot imagine a scenario where he would be like, okay, I'm fine not being a wizard. Like, I feel like Alex would more so be able to like let her powers go and just be like a regular person. I never got that vibe from Justin. Justin always seemed like the type of person who needed to be a part of the magical world. Like, he dedicated his life to studying, becoming a better wizard, understanding the wizarding world. Like, I just don't ever see him stepping away from that. They're trying to do this playback thing where their dad gave up his powers so that he could marry their mom, because apparently wizards are not allowed to marry mortals. And so, because he was so in love with her, he gave up his powers so that he could have a family and marry her. And that was seen as like this really romantic, sweet stuff. And honestly, even in that episode where they talked about it, Justin derides his dad's decision and was like laughing about it, about how ridiculous it was that his dad gave up his powers just for a girl.
Give your powers up for a girl?
Yeah, right.
So I don't know. It really does seem weird that adult Justin would just be like, yeah, I'm fine not being a wizard. Especially because they bent over backward to make it so that Alex and Justin could keep their powers. Like, it felt like such a cop out that Justin lost the wizard competition but was still able to keep his powers just because Professor Crumbs wanted him to take his place. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like a way to make everybody happy. So that detail was very interesting to me. I also am just not very interested in watching a series about Justin Russo. So, in case you didn't watch my Wizards of Waverly Place video about the wizard competition, I have a whole section in that video where I go on about how much I hate Justin Russo. I do not like Justin. I just really don't like Justin. To be fair, I did like Justin in the earlier seasons. I felt like he was a perfectly fine character, a really good foil to Alex Russo. But by the last season, Justin just became such an insufferable asshole. Like, I just couldn't stand him.
Sorry, Dad. I guess my Wizard World restaurant idea was too much for us to handle.
No, Max. Your idea was good. And it was working. We came along, got greedy, and ruined it.
Dad, stop. He's gonna think we want to hear things from him.
Max.
Hey, you filthy, disgusting, some mean things were said. I am. Please let me live.
You pushed the class to be evaluated before they were ready so you could be sure that I wouldn't get back into the wizard competition.
What? You can't possibly be blaming me for them failing.
But you cut the act. You got what you wanted.
She was with Cragmont. I think she's in trouble. We gotta help her.
Whoa, 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 help her. Have you forgotten how she let us down last time?
Mr. Justin, she is still your sister. And she's pretty and she talks to me.
I don't care. I'm not helping her.
Yes, you are.
Felix! Felix, put me down! You saved WizTech twice! Not once, but twice!
And that's why it should be me. And not her, but me.
I need that chicken salad sandwich for table 4.
Yeah, well, I need a lifetime full of wizard powers. Looks like neither of us are gonna get what we want. We're out of chicken salad.
Now give her her sandwich.
Okay, just give me a second. Hey, Alex.
Here's your sandwich. Think fast.
Alex!
So sorry.
You did that on purpose.
No, I didn't. Justin just threw the sandwich at me, Dad.
By the last season, I wanted him to lose that competition so bad. I was not happy that he got to keep his powers. Like, he pissed me off by the last season. So I still have a lot of hurt feelings about that. So I have no real excitement to watch an entire series about this character because I just couldn't stand this character by the last season. So a Justin Russo centric series seems very boring to me. I have no interest in watching Justin train other wizards. Now, if Alex was the main focus of the series, I might give it a chance, but I just don't care about Justin. I don't care to see what Justin's up to. I don't care to see him train other wizards. Justin, to me, as a character, only worked well playing off Alex. Like, him being the complete opposite to her, the more studious, well rounded, determined, centered person to her, like chaotic, spontaneous personality. Like, I feel like they brought out the best in each other. And there were many times where I felt like Alex played really well even on her own. Like, Alex could carry a series without him. But I just don't feel like Justin can carry a series without her. Like, he just never gave me that. He never gave me I can run this ship by myself. It never gave that. So I'm not interested to just watch a series where it's just Justin running around trying to train other people. And the other reason why it was really surprising to me that this series even came into fruition was because I don't know, I kind of got the impression that David Henry had beef. Maybe not beef is the right word, but he didn't seem like he got on along well with the cast members post the show ending. Like, I don't think they hate each other. I don't think there's like a super big conflict, but it did seem like he was really trying to distance himself from his Disney Channel days and really like put that behind him, which I can't fault him for that because most child actors, once they become adults, they really try to move on to more adult things and really distance themselves from their Disney image. But I mean, he didn't even show up for the Alex versus Alex movie. Like, Selena Gomez showed up for that, and she was at that point a really big star. Like, she was really starting to take off, and she came back. I mean, most of the other cast members came back. I think all of the cast members came back, actually. David Henry was the only one who didn't show up to reprise his role as Justin. So I don't know. I kind of just always got the impression that he was over it. Like, he didn't want anything to do with the Wizards of Waverly Place franchise. And then when they started the Wizards of Waverly Place podcast, Jennifer Stone and David DeLuise has spoken about the fact that they've invited every single cast member to come on for an episode and speak about their experience with the show. Selena went on and she did an episode. Marie came on and she did an episode. She's the actress that played the mom. Even the actor that played Zeke went on to do an episode, but for whatever reason, David Henry and Jake T. Austin didn't want to come on the podcast, which I mean, it's fine. Like, I'm not faulting them for being like, I don't want to have anything to do with this. But it does seem kind of weird that he seemingly is trying so hard to distance himself from that while simultaneously working behind the scenes to bring the show back where he is the main focal point. And I don't know, I kind of get a weird vibe from that, especially if you know the history of how Wizards of Waverly Place came into being. It was never originally supposed to be a series that focused on Selena Gomez's character Alex. The original idea for the Wizards of Waverly Place show was that it was going to be a family-centric show that starred David Henry. He was supposed to be the main character. He was supposed to be the star of that show. And it was originally called The Amazing O'Malleys, where David had a twin sister, I think. There was always supposed to be a sister character, and they were supposed to be twins. There was no younger sibling. There was no subway shop. It was supposed to be this magic shop. And it was a show that centered around David's character. He was the main character. But as development of that show went on, and I think they even shot a pilot for The Amazing O'Malley's, they completely restructured the show when they brought on Selena Gomez. All of a sudden, David Henry was not the main character anymore. It was Selena Gomez, and he was no longer going to be playing her twin. He was going to be the older brother. Selena Gomez was going to be the younger sister. They brought in a new sibling, a younger brother called Max, and instead of a magic shop, they had a Subway shop. So, I mean, I'm just speculating here, but it does seem like this new Wizards of Waverly Place reboot is a way of maybe correcting for past mistakes, because now we're getting the David Henry vehicle where before he was kind of promised that, hey, you're going to have a series where you're the main character, and all of a sudden he was playing kind of the sidekick to Selena Gomez, who was the main character. So I don't know, this just kind of feels like a way to put him back in the spotlight where he might have felt like he was kind of robbed of that opportunity before. And I mean, he also kind of did his own thing on Instagram where he was recapping every episode of the show, talking about the behind the scenes. He was doing a very similar thing to the Wizards of Waverly Place podcast, but he did not want to interact with any of the other cast members. He didn't bring other people on to talk about their experience, and he also refused to go on their podcast. And seemingly, David DeLuise and Jennifer Stone had no idea that the reboot was happening. I mean, I kind of don't want to believe that that's true, but it does seem like that's what's happening. Like, it seems like they had no idea that this was going to happen. They definitely aren't going to be main cast members. I mean, when people asked if other characters were going to be reprising their role on Instagram, David did respond and said that he'd love to have them come back, but it does seem like it's going to be in a cameo situation, a guest appearance situation, similar to Selena Gomez in the pilot episode. And I'm just like, I mean, I feel like if they asked, Jennifer Stone and David DeLuise do seem like they would be willing to be full-time cast members. I mean, they talk at length about really wanting to come back and do this reboot, so it just seems like they were kind of cut out of the process. And if they do appear on the show, it's just going to be one-off instances. Like, they didn't even know this was going to be happening. I don't know. There's just something so kind of vindictive and mean-spirited about the way this show seemed to be coming together. And again, I'm just speculating. They could have very well knew that this was happening. I mean, Jennifer and Selena are still kind of friends. They keep in touch. So, and she's an executive producer. So I don't know. I feel like it would be weird if Selena never mentioned to Jennifer that she was producing a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. So, maybe they all knew that this was going to be happening, and maybe they just didn't want to be main cast members. Maybe they felt more comfortable having guest appearances, or maybe they just didn't like the way that this new show is going to be going, which honestly I don't blame them, because I hate the direction that this new show is going in as well. But yeah, something about it just doesn't sit well with me. I don't know, it seems like maybe there's something not completely kosher with the relationships and how the cast members are with each other behind the scenes. Things just aren't lining up in a way that makes me feel like everybody is fine with this and they're on the same page. Yeah, so in the show, Justin's also going to be married to a mortal, which is crazy to me because Bridget Mendler isn't gonna be a part of the show. I don't know. Like, I kind of, it's possible that Justin and Juliet break up, right? Like, people break up. Like, I don't assume that the person you're dating when you're a teenager is always going to be the person you end up marrying. People break up. It's fine. It's not a big deal that Justin didn't marry Juliet. And honestly, that might have been a decision because Bridget Mendler isn't going to come back for this show. Like, let's be real. She is off ruling the world, doing research, collecting her degrees. Like, she doesn't have time for a Disney Channel reboot of a show she guest starred when she was a teenager. Like, Bridget is off doing bigger and better things. She got married. Like, I'm sure Bridget doesn't want to have anything to do with this. So that's probably why they had to go the, oh, Justin married a mortal aspect. Like, Bridget isn't come back for this. One actor that actually did comment about the reboot, that he said that he actually had no idea that the reboot was going to happen, was Zeke's actor. So Dan Benson, who played Zeke, Justin's best friend on the show, commented about the show being rebooted and the fact that he had no idea that this was going to be happening. It was just as a surprise to him as it was to us. And he kind of made this TikTok talking about the fact like he's wondering what they're going to be doing with the Zeke character. And it's like, come on, bro. So, if you don't know, Dan is currently an adult entertainer, I guess is the best way to put it. He does OnlyFans, which, it's fine. But he's speculating that because of what he's doing as a career now, that they would not touch him at all to be a part of, Disney Channel, which absolutely makes sense. But also, more than that, why do we even need Zeke? Like, I don't know. I felt like it was kind of presumptuous of him to even think that they would think about the character. He was a guest appearance. He made guest appearances on the show. I don't know. I don't feel like it's really at the top of the creators and writers' mind to be like, ooh, I wonder what Zeke's up to. Like, I don't know. Like, is it it could just be that Zeke and Justin stopped being friends when they went into adulthood. I mean, Justin was already kind of a shitty friend to Zeke by the last season. Like, he was fine with Zeke dying in the last episode, by the way. Yeah, so like, I don't know. I don't think it's that outside the realm of possibility that Justin just fell out of touch with Zeke. Like, it's fine. Like, we don't really need to know what Zeke's been up to. It's good. But yeah, I'm not really excited about the Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. I don't think we needed this. I mean, I guess I'll check it out. I'll see what the pilot episode is like. I'll see what the tone of the show will be. But just in my own experience, I don't think any of these reboots ever do what they set out to do, which is to capture the magic of the original series run. They just are never able to really live up to the magic and expectations that the original series run had. And in a weird way, I do kind of think that rebooting all of these shows that we loved when you were like 12 years old is really weird. Like, it's almost like a committal to keeping us kids. We're grown as kids. Like, it's fine that the thing that we really, really enjoyed when we were 10 stays when we were 10. Like, it doesn't need to come with us into adulthood. Like, I'm not necessarily interested to find out what Miley Cyrus is like in her 30s. I don't need to know what Sunny from Sunny with a Chance is doing. If she married Chad and had kids, like, I don't really care. Like, it's fine that the things that we really enjoyed when we were younger stays that way. I'm so opposed to this trend of reboots and just keeping us where we were all those years ago when trying to like capitalize on the feelings that we had when we were that age. And it's just almost always a failure. It never really does well. It never really excels in what it's trying to do. And I mean, the reboot that I think I've enjoyed the most was the iCarly reboot. And even then, I didn't feel like the iCarly reboot was that great. It definitely was not as good as the original. I guess I did kind of appreciate the more adult tone, but I don't know. It just never captured the original iCarly magic. And I don't want to see a Victorious reboot either. Like, I don't care what Tori's up to. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of a curiosity there, but I don't need a 20 episode season to know if Beck and Jade are still together. Like, it's fine that it just ended. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority with that. I think we just need to get over this. But yeah, that's what they're doing with the Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. And those are my thoughts. So I honestly was already working on another video. I was actually in the middle of finish editing in it, but then I heard that they were going to be doing this, and I just felt like I had a responsibility to say something. I don't know. I almost feel like I'm the authority when it comes to Wizards of Waverly Place for some reason, just because I've rewatched it so many times and have spent so many times with these characters, and it was always one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So if I'm not excited by what they're presenting here, then I don't know if the casual fans will be that excited either. I don't know. Um I think Wizards of Waverly Place should have just stayed in 2012. It's fine. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about the Wizards of Waverly Place reboot and Hollywood's attempt to keep us as perpetual children. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.